Okay, so the second part, and I'd like to just share some of the research and other things that have otherwise gone on. Like anybody that's found themselves into this situation where you're just your world's very quickly turned upside down, you very quickly become a real student of the thing that you've got, and suddenly you're diving into research that you don't know anything about. A lot of it's very sketchy, trying to make sense of a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense. I think unfortunately, based on the nature of this, is that unfortunately it's quite a rare thing, relatively rare thing that I've got. I think for where it is, the type that it is and where it is relatively rare. Obviously there's nothing spectacular about it, but because it doesn't impact a huge number of people, it means that money into the research is sketchy. There's not a lot of money goes into research because it impacts fewer people. It makes a lot of sense. So it doesn't, for people like me, people like you, if this is you, if you've got a family with a similar kind of thing, it's unfortunate that there isn't massive rafts of of research like some of the more popular, more common sort of cancers. I'm using the word cancer. I don't know. I think my consultant said it's like a 98% chance or something. So I'm using that word. But it's interesting to see, reaching out, seeing what you can see. So the idea is, the plan for this is with after this operation, after this debulking, so they'll try and remove as much of this tumour as they can. He made it very clear that it's not the kind that's easy just to scoop out, because it's very easy to impact parts of the brain, so it can affect my ability to communicate, which is then one of the reasons I wanted to do some of these videos relatively early. So if my communication is impacted, then that's sort of gone. If some of that's impacted, then that's no good. It can also impact other scary things, but but like any other operation, there's lots of other things that can happen. But a very real risk is impinging on this eloquent part of the brain, which will affect my ability to communicate, but can also affect my ability to understand, and also to impact my it can even be like movement. So it can affect my like degrees of paralysis, I think, and these things. I know these are scary. I'm saying them because I'm under no illusions. I know what they are, but I wanted to, again, just to say this is what the situation that I'm in. You might be in a similar scenario. It might be affecting a different part of the brain. But one of the things that I did, I asked my consultant, Mr. Solanki, I just sort of recommended where do we look out for any sort of any research, and what to look out for, and where other just avenues to look down. And obviously he can't make official sort of recommendations, but he encouraged me in the direction of a guy called Professor Akash, who works in King's Hospital, I think is where his research is. And one of the things he was looking at was a type of chemotherapy called DC-VAX-L, it's called. Again, I didn't want to dive into too much with this research, because again, I don't want to misunderstand too much stuff, and for various different reasons. There's lots of different avenues of research that I don't want to look at too much yet. Until I've sort of had this operation. I don't want to know it sounds like ignorance, but it's not ignorance. But I don't want to look at all of the worst case scenarios, which I know that they're all ominous. I completely aware of those things, but I can live in a degree of ignorance. You might completely disagree with look at it that way, but either way, I was able to get in contact with this fella quite quickly via email. There at Harley Street in London, their team came back very, very quickly, and they've arranged for a consultation with me on Thursday the 12th. He's got access to my scans and access to my scans and access to just my notes, and he's agreed to do a consultation with me relatively quickly, which is great. Unfortunately, the whole process is private, and his research that that I'd looked into was this DCVax-L is a type of chemotherapy that has, I think, shown initial. Again, I didn't look at it too much, so I might be really completely discrediting all of the downplaying how important his research is, but it looked very impressive, and it looked like it yielded some potentially quite good results in slowing down this glioblastoma. It's able to slow it down a little bit more, I think, more effectively than other sort of standard chemotherapies, as far as I understand it. Like, my understanding is pretty ignorant, but I'm really interested to speak to this fella. I mean, it could be that in speaking with him, he sort of says, look, this is what I proposed. This is if I was interested, that maybe, who knows, maybe he says that I'd be a perfect kind of candidate maybe to try this type of chemotherapy. Maybe it's got alongside the radiotherapy that is being recommended to me by Contrast Hospital. Again, I'm just guessing a little bit. Whether this means I would need to raise funds for this kind of thing, I don't know. I mean, it's likely to be expensive. But I suppose I'm putting that out there. I don't know how people clearly do this, and it seems quite selfish. A lot of people that when they find themselves in this situation, they raise money for cancer charities and things, which I'd be absolutely more than up for doing as well. But I think it seems a little bit it seems arrogant almost, saying that, oh yeah, I'd like to raise some money please for myself, because it was going to help pay for my treatment, but what other way I'm going to do it? So I'm not saying this to raise money through this. I suppose I'm just saying out loud, these are the things that are going through your head, and again, you might find yourself in a similar situation, but I don't know. I wonder if that could be part of a trial. If it could be part of a trial, or if I could be, it could be useful in one way or another. But yeah, so that's Thursday. Unless I hear beforehand that the operation comes before then, but we're on Monday, and I think I'm likely to get a few days in advance, because Mr. Solanke suggested that they'd ramp up the steroids before the operation, because it helps lower swelling. Steroids are apparently not great to be on for too long, and you're supposed to kind of tailor off them. They just make me really hungry, but fortunately my partner just makes me just the healthiest food, so I'm not just grazing on absolute junk. I've just been grazing on beetroot and sort of vegetables and just high quality meat, and anyway, you don't need all of this information. Yeah, so that's the next step, and we're just waiting at home, and there's a bit of a fear. It's just a bit disconcerting, the idea. It's about 2.5 hours drive away from here. It's going to take longer than that, I think, to get there. There's a bit of a discomfort about being away from the sort of the safety and just comfort of home, and the idea of having a little bit of a blip along the way and finding yourself a little bit out just away from just the safety of exactly knowing exactly where you are is a little bit disconcerting, but it's really worth going and speak to this guy who seems incredibly, his research seems incredibly impressive and important, and the fact that he's agreed to see me to such late notice. All these people are incredibly busy, so I'm really interested in going to do that. Again, any thoughts, any ideas, anybody wants to share anything, any similar situations, please feel free to share with me. Yeah, I've got vague ideas of other videos of things that have otherwise been going through my head. I feel like maybe I find myself very suddenly in a very unique situation, unique, shared by only maybe you watching this. You might have found this video just by accident, in the same way that I found other people when I straight away found things out. I wanted to see people talking about their personal situations. So feel free to reach out. Again, I've not uploaded this yet, but I think I can put contact details below. I'm such an old man when it comes to the technology, but yeah, all right. Till next time.